Rachel. Happy Monday. Thanks for being on Monday Masterclass. This is your friendly reminder to send your last minute reminders to your team members who have forgotten, even though we do this every Monday at noon CST. That's okay. Remind them to hop on or catch the recording later. Okay. Let me talk a little bit about, again, why this month is so incredible and just remind you guys of a few things. I was out of town at a women's retreat all last week when November kicked off. However, I was out of town with no Wi-Fi during election week. It was total bliss, totally amazing. But now I'm back. And so Andrea and I just want to remind you guys that you are gunning for Christmas cash. Ivy, you've already recruited. Rhonda Hensel's on here. She's already recruited too. You guys are moving into momentum and we want to help you. But what we really want to do is help you help your new people. So please make sure that every new VIP, you are showing them, here's how you create a cart. Do this with me. We're going to save it to your notes so that when you run into a friend who wants to get the same thing as you do, because I know you want an accountability partner for your reset. I know you want an accountability partner for your triplex and trim. Then here's what you're going to send and you're going to make money. Okay. That is so crucial that you walk your VIPs through Share a Cart. Okay. Which also gives you a great chance to talk about earning Christmas cash. And by the way, you just never know. You don't know. One, who needs it. Two, you never know who's hungry. I can't tell you how many times I've been like, she probably doesn't need it. And later come to find out she did. I was one of those people. So it's my friendly reminder. Also, rally chat every day. We have moved messaging events from Thursday night to Fridays so that we can capture the 20% off Fridays. And don't forget that every Friday, they're also drawing for giveaways. So whoever you recruit this week, your name is going to be added to that beautiful wheel at corporate. And you can find that on the Plexus Brand Ambassador community page. Or is it the other one, Andrea? This is where I always blank. We'll get that.
I think it's on Academy.
Okay. So you will get entered into a drawing to win, and the prizes are pretty awesome. I think last Masterclass we voted, and the majority of us either wanted cash or the Dyson because it's that season in life. Okay. I want to tell you a little bit about our guest speakers today. Rachel Gallaher was a trainer at the last Gold School that was in Dallas just a few weeks ago. I didn't get to go. I had my 30th high school reunion. But I was talking to Andrea on the way back and I was like, how are the trainers? She was like, they were really great. Then ironically, like 2 days later, Rachel just messaged me and said, I just want you to know that I've been watching this series that you guys do called Monday Masterclass on your YouTube channel. I was really honored. And I was like, well, since you reached out, I would like to recruit you to come and train. You guys know, because you've been with us, that our whole focus for the greater team through the end of this quarter is on going gold, developing golds, and getting at least 4 golds wide, building 4 gold legs. That's what we consider to be a really strong business practice when you're building, okay? But the reason I want you to hear from Rachel is actually because she's been doing this for a while, and she, like me, has been rebuilding. She's a mom of 3. She's pregnant with number 4, who comes next month or any day. She used to be a 4th grade teacher. She had done network marketing before, but she never really went all in until Plexus. Rachel joined in 2015, and she says she's rebuilt many times, especially through having 4 kids under 4. Can we get a hallelujah? And her focus is on growing gold leader legs. And that's what's been working for her. When I was talking with her, I was like, do you have a team member that you would like to bring on and kind of do some back and forth, tell both your stories with? Because I think that helps so much to see how people are working with their leaders. And she immediately brought up Kelsey Webb. So here's what's funny, Kelsey, is I'm going to call out Ivy because she's on this call. She messaged we have a little chat of leaders, and she was like, basically, she didn't use this word, I'm going to use it. Basically, she was fangirling because she has been watching y'all's growth and saw, Kelsey, about your rank up to Emerald, and was like, you guys, you've got to get on this call, which, that hypes me up. That makes me super excited. And it's a reminder, you guys, that This is one of the reasons why obviously you keep your business open all the time, is not just because you want people to see that you are open for business, but also because people are watching your stories, not even necessarily your networks, but other sidelines are taking huge encouragement when you grow and when you lead by example. So I'm going to have Rachel introduce Kelsey, but kick it off, Rach. Tell us a little bit about your story and yourself, and then we'll let you guys share whatever's on your heart, and then we will open it up for questions and answers later.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I messaged Becky. I meant to message Andrea too, but I'm sure I like how to change a diaper and forgot. But I just told them, I'm like, y'all, I've been sending y'all's table calls to my team I've been watching them like binging for like the past 6 weeks probably. I'm like, y'all watch this so good. And then I watch the next one. I'm like, okay, watch this so good. But I'm like, okay, but really this one's so good too. They're just good. So y'all just know, I know everyone says this because I heard all the calls of how lucky y'all are to have them as leaders, but it's so dang true. And I'm like, so honored when Becky asked me to be here. I'm like, is she for real? Like, okay, I'm here for it. I will make it work for sure. But yeah, I'm excited. So I want to share a little bit about my story just to encourage y'all. One thing about me is I am like an open book. I think it's because I have 5 brothers. So I'm from a family of 9. I have 5 brothers, 3 sisters. And I feel like you have to be honest in a big family, and you have to just be raw, because if not, someone's always calling you out. So I feel like one of my strengths that I've realized is a strength that I used to think wasn't, is just being really real with people and not knowing that people just truly appreciate that so much. But I've never been, so I've been an Emerald. I joined in 2015. I've been Emerald since like 2017. And I know some people can get to where you just feel like shame and like, why am I not raked up yet? Or something, maybe you're gold and you've been gold for a long time. Maybe you're a ruby, you've been ruby for a long time. And you feel like, why am I not where I feel like I should be? But part of my story is just, I've just kind of owned it and been like, you know what? I'm here for a reason. I'm doing the work. God's got me here for a reason. And then when I had 4 babies back to back, I'm like, Andrew said I could sneeze. It's so true. Like, this baby's about to pop out. At this point, my clothes are ridiculous. I look like I'm wearing a sports bra, like in every shirt I wear, but I'm like, whatever. Not buying new clothes. I'm about to have this baby. But I've just realized, like, with 4 kids in 4 years, if I would have like boomed to the top after I went Emerald, then there's no way I could have kept up with it. Like, I was barely surviving as is. My husband, he recently has had a change where he's going back to school for EMT to be a firefighter, like complete change of life. He went from being in the oil field, gone all the time, to going to another job where he flew out of town and was gone like Sunday morning to Friday night, basically. So we had Saturdays with him, and that's it. So I can't even imagine, like, if I would have had a huge diamond team at that point, it would have just crumbled. So I know now why I was in that season. And it's so easy for us to look back after the fact, but it can be really easy to get discouraged when you're in those seasons of, why am I here? Now, I say this to people and say, don't use that as an excuse to be like, I'm going to sit here forever. You still need to do the work. Like, I was doing the work in those seasons, but I've just come to a realization that you have to rebuild during this. You're probably, I don't know where everyone is, where you're ranked at, but that's normal. There's ebb and flow. I always like to equate Plexus to like a standard brick and mortar, because for some reason we think because it's network marketing, it should be so much different, but it's not. It's a business. And when you look at a business, what happens? They have ebbs and flows. I don't know about y'all, but where we live, restaurants are shutting down like left and right. Ones that have been in business for a year and some that have been in business 10 years. It's normal for businesses to have to change and revamp, or they kind of slide backwards. So I like to compare my business to a regular brick and mortar like that. Like, when something isn't going how we feel like it should, when we look and we're disappointed with numbers, or we're disappointed with points, or we're like, what is going on here? Looking and being like, what can I do to change that? And Kelsey Webb, y'all see her over here. She's someone that's been with me for a little bit now. And what we have, which is really great, which obviously y'all have a great community, is getting together with your people who are working with your support team and saying, hey, okay, this isn't working. What can we do to change it? And how can we do like a blood transfusion here? How can we change things up? What can we do to make this new, or to shift things to make it work? So working with your uplines, downlines, in order to do that, to really say, okay, we need to change. So all that to say, that's kind of my story of where I've been. I'm an Emerald, going for a Sapphire. We'll see if I hit it this month. I'm going for it. We'll see. But really also going to, I say it like that because I used to be like, yes, this is it. We're doing it. And Kelsey could probably attest to this. She's probably going to say it's in her story where I would run so hard that I would get burnout. So I'd be like, this is it. This is my sapphire month. And I'd be signing up like people's dogs, cats, hamsters, whatever, to hit my goal. And then when the month is over, I am so beat. And then my points would fall backwards. And that is so frustrating and defeating. Like, so frustrating and you're defeating when you feel like that's the normal, and it doesn't have to be the norm. Your business doesn't have to always fall backwards. But my perspective now, and I wrote down a few little notes I want to make sure and hit, but my perspective now is this is long term. This is longevity. And if it takes me 10, 12, even 15 years to get to diamond, it doesn't matter, because I was a fourth grade teacher before, and I got capped out in the district I was in. You can see, like, you can go with, fun fact, if you were like recruiting teachers here, go to whatever district you're in. You can go on the website and see what they cap out at and what they're making. It's like public knowledge because they get paid by the state. So you go, my salary as a 20-year teacher in the district I was in would have got capped out at like 58,000 after 28 years of teaching, or sorry, 20 years of teaching. I'm like, what? No, like it was horrible. So when I really made this shift of like not looking for just quick wins or, things that I feel like could frustrate you when you don't hit them. When I look at that long term of like, okay, if I stuck for plexus for 20 years, what could come out of this? It's a lot. Like if you really start thinking that long term versus just this month I'm going to hit a goal, or next month I'm going to hit a goal, or by, convention I'm going to be this. But when you really look and say, what's the other option? If I quit doing plexus right now, like if I'm frustrated, if I feel stuck, if I feel over it, and there's been times, y'all, I've been over it in my business where I'm like, I do not want to talk about a freaking pick and drink to one more person. But you rejuvenate yourself and it just happens. There's days also, I don't want to change another diaper. I'm like, if one more kid craps their pants today, I am done. But you know what? Tomorrow is a new day. And sometimes those days last for months. There's been months of my business where I felt like that. But then when I really look back at that vision and see, in 20 years, if I didn't do plexus, what's my other option? In 20 years, I'm 35 right now. I'm going to be 55. What are we going to be living paycheck to paycheck because I have to go get a regular job and I have to go back, and my kids are going to be, my youngest is, going to be 20, barely in, I'm going to be paying for college. So what's the other option? What is the option that's going to give me the freedom to be able to visit in college and set up the dorm room and do whatever I want and still give me that time? So when you really have that long-term vision, that's what really invigorates you to change things up and say, you know what, is this always easy? No, but what can I do to change it? What action can I do? What activity can I do? Because activity really does cure all in order to change it. So being in that, I've had to rebuild lots of times. That's kind of the mindset I've had with it. And then there's one quote that I love on here that is, I saw it like on a meme. I'm like a meme lover. I love them. They just like bring me life. But one time I saw it was like a quote though, and it said, people make changes out of inspiration or desperation, but most people wait till they're desperate to be inspired. And I've always loved that quote. I've always stood by it because that's usually, sometimes we get comfortable where we are. I saw someone, I didn't see who it was, says, I've been gold forever. Sometimes, even though well, I want the next goal, but it's like, are we inspired enough, or are we waiting till we're desperate enough to make a change? I can still remember when I had my daughter, there's not many moments that like really stick with me. I have like the memory of a squirrel, but like one moment when I had my little 4-year-old daughter, and it was during COVID. Literally, I had her like the turn of COVID. I went in to deliver her. My water broke. I went in. Everyone thing was normal. The next day, people came up in like astronaut suits, and they were like yelling at me from the door. Basically, they're like, "You good in there?" Like literally, the world turned when I had my daughter, and I'd never been a mom before. And it was when my husband was traveling. He left like the next day for like 3 weeks, and so I was just there. No one would come to our house because they were afraid they were gonna, like, she was gonna die if they gave her COVID, which I appreciate that, like I wasn't gonna mad at them for that, but no one knew. Like there was no grocery delivery. There was nothing. I think I had like a rice cakes and cheese in my fridge because I didn't know she was 3 weeks early. So I like hadn't gone grocery shopping. So it was literally like I had nothing and no support, nothing. It was just me with this baby. And my points had dropped a lot. They had dropped a lot. I had hit emeralds. And at that point, my points had gone down to like, God, I don't even remember. I had to be like 750 or something like that. And I literally texted my upline, who's one of my best friends, and I said, I refuse to go back to work. I will not go back to work. I remember I was like holding my baby and I was looking at her. I was like, I will not put her in daycare. I've got to make this work. I had hit a point of desperation. Was it fun that I waited that long to get desperate to like really amp it up? No, but sometimes we need that. So I encourage you to either think about like, what are your points of desperation, or get inspired enough, find something that inspires you enough to get you to where you want to change, or else you won't. Okay. So with the rebuilding, things that I have done recently. So I have in the past, I would say probably like 6 months, really ramped it up some. And because of that, I wasn't hitting Emerald for a very long time. And I now have hit it every month for a year, which is like huge for me. And I've hit the 2000 mark in points for several months now, which is huge for me because I was in non-holding Emerald for years, y'all, like years. And so things that I have done to change, I'm going to pass it over to Kelsey, but I really have just gotten back into activity. I really have. Sometimes when you're not feeling inspired, guys, no one else can give you inspiration. Lasts for a very short time. It really does. So you have to constantly be feeding yourself. So like the table, for instance, this YouTube channel, every single day, every morning when I get up, I don't really do my makeup every day, but brushing my teeth or doing laundry or cooking breakfast, even for the kids, I just stick my earbuds in and I listen to this every single day so that by the time I'm ready to work, my mind is full of positivity. My mind is full of strategy. My mind is full of inspiration. My mind is full of just like vigor to like get going. Like I'm just ready to work by the time I get off of that. I don't fill my, I don't pick up my phone and look at Facebook and fill my, mind with junk in the morning. I don't just get on Instagram and scroll, scroll, scroll. I don't listen to like booty, booty rockin' everywhere music. Like I literally turn on like my praise and worship, although sometimes that does help, but like praise and worship music. And then after that, I listen to some sort of plexus training in the morning to get me going. Because where you are plugged in, you will thrive. When your plug is plugged into that wall, that's where you will thrive. So find a good source to get plugged into and get you inspired to work. And then eventually you're not going to need that to get inspired to work. You're just going to want to because you have it inside of you now, that motivation. So I've done that. And then honestly, I'm strictly reaching out about the business. That's all I'm doing. I'm strictly reaching out about the business. Someone told me one time, if you reach out about the products, you're going to have a team full of people who take the products. And what do product users do? Whenever they can't afford products, they quickly go in and turn their subscription off because Plexus, you got to pay your light bill. Okay. Like if it's your Plexus or your electric bill, you're going to pay your electric bill. So you're not giving people a reason to stick around. Really, we know people come in and they leave. Some stick, some don't. So, but if you're banking on people to just love the products and stay forever, that's not going to build you a huge business. But if you have people come in for the business, then they're going to get a paycheck. And guys, even if they add one, like Becky was saying, they're going to get like 45 bucks off their first order. You know what sounds a lot better than $150 for your monthly order? $100 for your monthly order. So even if you get them to just share with one person, that's building a business, even though we don't call it that. And we're not going to tell them that. That is them getting a paycheck, and people are more likely to stay, even if they have just one customer, because it gives them that buy-in and accountability. So I reach out strictly for the business now. And then I fall back on the products. If they're not interested, then I say, okay, no problem. Do you have a reason to check out? Do you have any of these issues? Then I know y'all probably seen that Candida chart that's like Candida issues, and it has like all the plexus. Basically, I send that and I say, plexus helps with all these. Is this something that, do you have any of these issues that you would like some recommendations for? If not, no worries. I make it like super casual, and mostly they're like, oh my God, I have like all of them, but I've already planted that seed for the business. So I've been doing that. And then if y'all have not watched Amber Miller's on here, I'm not even going to rehash what she said because I literally do exactly what she said, where she has in her notes section when someone says, yes, they want to get started on the business, and then how she does that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch it. Find it on y'all's YouTube channel. But it's so good. And that's all I've been doing. I've been getting people started with the business. I have been doing welcome calls with them and just saying, hey, excited for you to get your products in. This is how you take them. Hey, are you open to getting some money off your next month's products or getting them free? That's literally, I keep it so simple. And when they say yes, then I do exactly what Amber Miller said. I plug them into a little note section on my phone, and I have little to-dos for them, and I make them post. And then I make them share with a few friends, and then that's all I do. It's super simple. I might have been a mix of Brooke Hemingway and Amber Miller, now that I'm talking about it, where Brooke was saying there's like 3 things you have to do. What are the 3 things you have to do? We add our people to 97 team pages and all this stuff, and they're like, whoa, what just happened? No, I'm out. Confusion says no. So people are confused, they say no. But I know on Brooks, that is also on your YouTube channel, she said 3 things. You share, you have them post, you have them talk to some people, and then you have them share a cart. So I keep it so stupid simple. And because of that, I have people, I have new silvers that are on their way to senior silver, new senior silvers that are on the way to gold. And that's how I'm rebuilding. It's just starting with the basics. We overcomplicate it so much. But in the beginning, guys, I look at like, and I'm gonna wrap it up so Kelsey can go. You know how on Facebook there's like the on this day 10 years ago, it's like your memories. Mine pop up and I'm horrified. I'm like, who is that? And what was that post? But you know what? People bought plexus from me because I was excited. So when it comes down to it, you just need to be excited and show up, and people will build with you. So I'm gonna flip over to Kelsey. Kelsey is one of my friends I met. Actually, she's someone who, if you aren't taprooting through your team, like talking to, your level ones, even if they like peace out and quit taking the products, talking to their level ones, giving them customer support. Kelsey's actually my level 3. So she's a level 3 emerald of mine. I met her through that, and she was actually going to quit in the beginning. She was going to quit, but talked her off the ledge, and she's back, and now she loves plexus so much, but she has been doing an awesome job of building gold. So I'm going to toss it over to her, and then she's going to share with y'all what she's doing.
Hello. Thanks for talking me off that ledge, and I'm glad I'm still here. First of all, I'm honored to be on this call. It's like my first big hoorah call, I feel like, and I am nervous. New Emerald here, and I'm like, holy gosh, Rachel asked me to speak on here, and I'm like, yeah, I was confident. And then now leading up to it, I'm like shaking. I'm so nervous. So a little bit about my story. I was a first grade teacher for 6 years, and I was supplementing my income, basically trying to pick up coaching. Played college basketball, so I'm very sportsy. Love coaching, all that. And then, so I started picking up some coaching gigs, and, you're going to work full time, and then you're going to practice, and then there's 2 to 3 games a week. And then you have Saturday games. And I had a 1-year-old at the time, 1.5-year-old, almost 2. And I just started to want to be with him more. He wasn't getting mom, and I wasn't getting that time with him. And I ultimately always have wanted to be a mom. And my health was also really, really junky, terrible IBS here. Was seeing colonoscopies. I was seeing GI doctors and getting colonoscopies and stool sample. It was awful, awful. Medicine was being prescribed to me and paying thousands of dollars. And my friend kept reaching out to me, Marissa, and I kept telling her no. And I kept saying, no, thanks. It just wasn't the right timing for me. And we actually had it was that summer, had a miscarriage in June when that month I actually started. And I was desperate. Like Rachel said, you have to be almost desperate to start, and it has to be your timing. And so I started, and within 3 days, kicked the Dr. Pepper addiction. Within 3 weeks, IBS was gone. And everyone was like, you've got to share that. And so went on Snapchat, got a crazy looking filter, did my first story, and I look back at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awful. But I did it. It doesn't matter how you do it. That's the first thing. Do it. It doesn't matter how you do it, how you present it. I always tell all my new people that are terrified to share, which there's a lot, just do it. You just got to do it. It doesn't matter what you do, just do it. And so started sharing in the end of June, and then in July had a messenger event for myself, and from a small town. So I invited basically whole small town teachers, friends, college friends. And that night, I remember there were so many people. It was 2020, so COVID, right? And so many people were wanting to get started. They were desperate too, but also they were desperate for the income side of things. They were sitting around at home. So that time was a little bit wonky in general, but that month quadruple ranked to senior gold and made $4,000. And so I was like, I just made that in 1 month versus I spent 7 months coaching. And I caught the vision fast for the income side. So I was like, okay, this is awesome. So little fact there too, I got pregnant a month later. We had just had a miscarriage, right? A month later, on Plexus products, got pregnant with our rainbow baby. So that was a really cool fact about my journey there. but truly just started sharing, even in the busy of being a teacher, on my lunch break, was posting. I was sending voice messages, small group table, sending, voice messages. I have a lot of teachers now that struggle with finding the time to fit Plexus in, because when they're going home, they want to completely unplug from their phones. They want to be with their families, which support that. But also, if you have a bigger vision for your family, you have to find that time. And so that's where I really have to peel back the layers with my teachers, is their why. And anyone in general, you have to figure out their why. And so a little bit there, I took notes, so I don't forget. So one thing in my journey that really it was here recently this summer that I had a big switch, was the Gap in the Game book. That book changed my business, changed my mindset. I had to make that switch, one, because I was wanting so much for all of my customers and all my leaders. And I was setting the goals for them instead of asking them, what is your goal? What do you want? And as an Enneagram 3, as a goal crusher, as anyone that's like, I just do it. I wake up and I do it. I didn't understand why people weren't just doing it. Like, you said you were going to do this goal. Why aren't you going and doing it? And it wasn't that I was being catty about it, but I was just like, I didn't understand, because I couldn't really connect there. And so that book, it just helped me to peel back some layers mentally and help me to know, like, we're all human. We're all going to be in the gap from time to time. Feel it, but you got to get up. You got to get out of it. And one thing that's helped me as a leader to lead other women, and not just lead first graders, because I was used to that, is you have to almost feel what they're feeling, but you have to tell them, snap out of it, get back up, keep going. Because if you allow yourself to stay stuck, or you allow yourself to stay at that rank, or you allow yourself to stay down for too long, then you're going to stay there, or it might be even harder to climb out. And so that book was game changer for me. Just really slowing down to speed up was a big one for me for that. Okay, she wanted me to talk about developing goals. So my team and I hit Emerald in July, the July 31st. Woke up on the 28th, and my points, we were still 384 points away from Emerald. And my belief did not waver. It did not shake. I just still had this energy, momentum that it was going to happen, this faith. And I just ran with it. And my team knew that. Like, I had been posting like I had never posted before on social media. I was sharing my journey, all the things. And then 3 days later, my team, Rachel was there, Joe Renfro, we're all in my office, in my house, and, bringing in Emerald as a team. And it was so special. My mother-in-law was here, and she was like, whoa, like, this is crazy. Like, I did not know this is what Plexus was all about. And I'm like, yeah, we go a little crazy sometimes. It's fun. But it was a lot of fun. But come August, points went, because what happened was, you had people that wanted to support you, right? I did blast and put out my journey. I have always been a very good and oversharer, especially on my stories. And so people had that buy-in and that trust with me, and they wanted to support me and wanted to support my business. And so a lot of those were one-time orders, or, just to help with that rank. But come, what was it? Yeah, August, I was like in project, I've got to start developing leaders. I've got to start developing gold leader legs. We always talk about the chair, like, or a table. You have those 4 legs, those four legs of a chair, 4 legs of a table, and you need those solid gold leader legs. And if you don't need a ton of them, okay, but you just need at least 4, and help them build that vision, build that belief, and help them to grow past gold and on. And so August, I was like, okay, build leader legs. I think we ended at 1,200 something that next month. So I knew I'm like 300 points. So I need 3 new goals to ultimately get back to re-rank. So September, I developed a brand new gold from start to scratch, 0 to 100. And by doing that, I was like, okay, it gave me confidence, one, that I could develop that. But two, it gave her confidence and it built her belief in what this could be for her too. And then October created another gold. And so I'm like, okay, I'm on track here. Here's the gold. Here's the gold. And now this month, I really, being the goal getter that I am, I wanted to say, okay, I'm going to develop another gold, 0 to 1, so 0 to 100. But I had to reel it in a little bit and be like, okay, Kelsey, let's think of sustainability. Let's think of those leader legs. And let's think of, okay, you've gotten them to gold. Now what's that next step for them? Senior gold. So this month, my goal is to get those 2 golds to senior gold. So, all that to say, I've got some tips here that I wrote down and what I've been doing with them to create those goals. There's 5 tips here that I've been doing, and number 1 would be a connection Zoom. So once someone gets started on their products and we kind of dabbled in money talk or potential of business or all of that, yada, yada, I do a connection Zoom, and that's usually 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I just fill it out, but it's a Zoom to really get to know that person. Because what I wasn't doing before was, I wasn't hopping on the phone. 1, 2, I wasn't getting to know my leaders. I just was expecting them to Zoom like I did, or to do it by themselves, or to naturally post and all of those things. But they don't, some people, most people, they're not a lot like us. They don't know how, or they want that hand holding. And so number 1 was the connection Zoom. So I get to know that person. I find out their why. I ask them what their current job is and if they like it or if they don't like it. How much time they're getting to spend with their kids, or if they're getting to see them much at all. If they have a 3rd job or 2nd job or whatever that may be. And then I ask them the gold question. I asked this with my last 2 golds that I created. It was, their names are Derry and Shaylee. And it goes something like this. I kind of tweak it, but it just comes out of my heart really when I'm asking it. But I'm really good at helping gals go to that 3rd promotion in this company, where you will see really good money and I can help you get there. Are you open to letting me help you get there or do just that? And I confront them with, I am good at making golds and creating golds. I don't say gold because they don't know what gold is, but I let them know you can make some really good money at that 3rd promotion in the company. And also they don't know, like, that's where some leadership really starts to happen. That's where some growth starts to happen. That's where you're going to have to get out of your comfort and grow, right? It's a journey. And so I lay it out there. I tell them I'm good at that. And I ask them if they're open to letting me help them. And most times they're like, well, yeah, I'm open to you letting you help me do that. And so then I start the steps, and we get off the call, and we first talk about, some of the steps that are going to go on past that call. But we get off that call, and from then on, every week I get on a Zoom call with them just to check in every week. And the second thing is I have them do their first post. If they haven't already done a shout out post, they are going to do their first post, and I help them create that. And so one thing I like to help, or like to have them do, is the minute they take a sip of their first pink drink or get their products in, I always have my customers send me a picture of that. And then I go back to that and I say, okay, you already have this picture here that you sent me when you first got your products. And I'll put a preset on it for them, and I'll send that to them. And then usually I give them 2 options, post wise, and they get their first post up. And then from there, I help them watch who commented and who liked. You guys probably know this. And if anyone is interested or comments on that post, they go right in a 3-way message with me. Right in a 3-way message. A lot of times what has happened in the past is they don't put them in a 3-way message with me. They don't know how to talk to them. They word vomit on them, and then they scare them away. They're like, whoa, I've heard this a time or 2. It's almost like a sales pitch more than, let me just talk to you about your health goals. And it's just a lot of times too much. So 3-way chat with me. So that was the second topic, is first post. The third one is a wellness party. So right away we get that scheduled on the calendar after they make that first post. I'm like, okay, you're gonna do your first post. You're gonna have success with it. I tell them they're gonna have success with it. And I tell them, if you're not a regular poster, then don't expect to have a lot of comments. Don't expect to have a lot of you know, likes, that's okay. And sometimes maybe I'll have them post a picture of their family before we do the first post, just to kind of warm up that algorithm. But that third is the wellness party. And something I learned from y'all's, I listened, Rachel sent it to me not too long ago, was at the beginning of that wellness party, shout out that person and let them know that they're going for, that blew my mind, that part. It said, so example, Kelsey is going to earn the first prize level of $300 if she helps 3 people get signed up. I have yet to try this, but I'm going to try this. I thought that was genius. I was like, that's a good spin to it. Because just like when my team and I were going for emeralds, what did they want to do? They want to help your friends. And most people in there are your friends, your family. And so they're going to want to help them, you know, get started, but also they're going to fall in love with the products too. Speak that into existence. And then the fourth thing was feed them like an infant. Feed those new leaders like an infant. So praise them all the time. Tell them when you see them post or get in their stories, tell them, or just praise them in general when they're doing something good. Chat with them daily. Plug them into community, like team calls. We don't plug our brand new people into our big team chat just because of overwhelm. But if you keep that communication with just you two, I think that's good. But get them sharing on a daily basis. That is what's going to ultimately, I feel like, get people in a rhythm of just getting what they're doing out there. Because if they're only doing it once a month, once in a while, people aren't going to know what they're doing, or they're going to think this is just a fun little thing, and then they're going to not trust you. So you have to build that rapport, and share daily is what I help them. I'll send them graphics on a daily just to help them post and so forth. Help them overcome objections and so forth. And then number 5, my tip is I always give them my cell number. And some might not like that, some may, but if they're leaders that are energetic, they are wanting to get to that 3rd level of a promotion, they are hungry, then they're going to get my ultimate attention. They can call me, they can text me, and they know this. And my family knows this too. They're like, oh, it must be that leader mama's trying to help make some money, or, you know, they're helping people. And to me, I asked, it builds relationships first of all too, but I asked them this question on a daily as well, not a daily, but maybe like a weekly basis or every other week, is why haven't you quit yet? Because at the beginning of my journey, I was at like 150, 178 points. I almost quit. And Rachel, I remember to this day exactly where I was. I was breastfeeding a kid in a car. I even remember the cheetah headband that I was wearing, and I wanted to quit because it got hard. It was overwhelming. I was a teacher. I had made good money, and I had fallen back a little bit. And she built this belief in me. She said, no, I'm not going to let you quit. No, you're going to continue to do this. Like, we've all been there. We've all gotten through this. And that's when I really just started to kick it into gear and say, what could this be? You know, or I've got to get my butt in gear and get past that senior gold mark again and get on to Ruby and senior Ruby. And so when I asked them this question of why haven't you quit yet, it brings them back to their why of, well, I want to be able to spend more time with my family, or whatever that may be for them. But it brings them back to that why on a daily basis, because you know they're having these thoughts of, oh, I don't have to do Plexus. I already have the job that I currently have, and I'm fine, right? But it brings them back to what is that more, that belief, that vision. I think other than that, lastly, I feel like, and we say this a lot on our team too, people don't want to get into a car that's parked. They don't want to get in a car that they don't know where they're going. And so if you are posting daily, if you are inviting on a daily basis or weekly basis, if you are messaging new potentials or reaching out about the business opportunity, you are putting yourself out there. Rachel always says it's like your open and close sign of your business. Okay. People want to get into a car where they know where they're going. So don't be afraid to share the vulnerable. Don't be afraid to share your goals. And yeah, that's kind of my tips on helping people go gold. Just my tips. I did it.
You did it. Oh my gosh. And you were so good at it, both you
Oh, my
guys.
real
Thank
best.
you. Thank you. Let's open it up to some questions because they shared great, like very accurate tips, but I bet that you guys have some questions. So if you've got one, just unmute and ask it.
Okay, I'll go. So I come from a different network marketing where we were literally posting all of the time. We were doing hard posts, we were doing reels, we were doing stories. I mentally cannot do it. So that's where I'm kind of struggling. So how often do y'all have like a schedule? Like I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Are you just, sorry, my kids. Are you just in your stories? Like what are your kind of tips for that?
I can go on that.
Before we answer that, let me say something really quick because this is interesting. And then I want to hear y'all's feedback. But so Katie, you're coming from another company. Pam happens to be on here, recently came from Rodan and Fields. Let me say this just really quick, and then I want to hear everyone else's feedback. I don't know your timeline. I don't know you, so I don't know what company or what timeline, but all I know is when you first get started, you have so much opportunity to get people's attention and to make them curious. It will never happen again that people won't know what you're doing if you're doing it well, right? And you sound like you're a little burned out. Okay, so let me just validate that. But nothing beats burnout like new curious people. And so I just want to remind you, and Pam, you know, we might poll you in a minute because you came from being a top leader in Rodan and Fields, came over to Plexus after they went to affiliate marketing, and I'd love for you to give some feedback. But let me just say, Katie, you are poised with a lot of people probably curious, well, why are you doing this? Even if they don't say it, they're going to be looking for it. So now I will mute and let other people share.
Yeah, so Kelsey made a good point, but I'll let her talk on it. But I was gonna say, what about posting is hard to you? Like when you sit and is it just because were you told to post a certain way? Were you told you have to do XYZ, so you just felt like you didn't have like creativity? Is it time? Like what about posting seems hard to you?
It's kind of like you first said, is that, I had that schedule of like, this is what I'm going to post. And I was like, I couldn't really be myself because it was kind of like structured. And I'm like you, like, you're going to get the real and raw. Like I am in the trenches right now trying to figure out my way. And so what Becky just said of like, this is the time to get people. I really like that you said that because most of us are in a valley. Not everybody's on top of a mountain right now. It's just like kind of you said, like creativity, like what I don't want to be that generic. I want to set myself apart. And that's where I find the struggle.
Yeah. Are you like a perfectionist?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So I would just say, just from hearing that, do you have kids?
I have 3.
Okay, so yeah, you probably realize with each kid, like, you're like, give AF, like starts to go out the window more and more. What's that real? Like, can I say that? What's that real? Have you ever seen that's like kid number 1? My kid will have non-GMO, no red dye, only breast milk. Someone sent this to me and I was cracking up. I was like, kid 4, please don't give my kid hard drugs or alcohol. I was laughing so hard because like I was such a perfectionist before. And it was like, I had to let that go. And with kids, I just feel like they just humble you so fast and you have to let it go because you can't, like with 3, I currently have 3 kids. Like it can be a lot some days. And you're like, look, I can't look good. My kids look good. My kids' shoes match. My house be clean. Them have home cooked meals every night, make sourdough, have a garden, have chickens. Like I cannot, you just don't have the capacity. So you have to let some stuff go. So you just have to know, like, you know what? Every post isn't going to be perfect, or everything isn't going to be perfectly scripted. When it comes down to it, I feel like what has helped me so much in posting is this, and then I'll go like real quick of kind of how I post, is what it helped me to shift from people are reading every single post and dissecting every single word to people just know in general, I do plexes and this is the type of person I am. Like if you think about even some posts I read of mine that do come up on my memories, like I was joking about that earlier, but sometimes they come up and I'm like, I don't even remember writing that post. And it was my post. So people aren't going to look and dissect and be like, oh, well, Katie last week misspelled the word this. It's like, just get it out there. And then in general, people are going to know this is Katie as a person. and wellness and health is a part of that person. So you just have to take the pressure off and be like, you know what? I don't need to post. Every Monday needs to be Motivation Monday. Every Tuesday needs to be Testimony Tuesday. Every Wednesday needs to be Walking Wednesday. Just get something out there. And something that helps me is I audit weekly, like on Friday, I'll go down my Facebook and be like, oh, I didn't post a lot of Plexus, or like, oh, I posted like 2 testimonies, not going to do that next week. And then I make a loose plan for the next week of, okay, next week I want to do XYZ. But typically I just go on my phone and just find some pictures and slap some words with it and call it a day. And then saving posts from people that you see. But just taking the pressure off of like, no one's expecting perfection of you. You're just expecting it of yourself. People are so into them that they aren't analyzing and critical of us like we think they are. They're too worried about what they're doing, So I'll just put that on there.
Yeah, and I would add, what your other company, whatever you didn't like about that, it doesn't have to be your story here with Plexus. So flip the script. If you wanted to see change there in posting, or how you're the CEO of your business. So you get to choose, how you want it, how to post, how that will look. And if you aren't having fun doing it, you need to make it fun. That would be my number one tip is, make it fun. Start with something that's comfortable for you. Posting about, whether that be your kids, or something, a hobby. Start posting that regularly, and then adding in a Plexus post once or twice a week. And that'd be my tip there.
Hey, just really quick, Katie, while you're on, Pam, do you have any high-level thoughts about like leaving a company, starting something new, and maybe, coming from a little bit of burnout and perfectionism? And give us your wisdom, Pam.
I'm not sure if it's wisdom, but I think this ties into what the ladies have shared today. And I watch a lot of Shark Tank, and I don't know if you guys do or not. I'm kind of a Shark Tank addict. But one time I heard Mark Cuban say this. There was one contestant that presented their stuff, and in a year they'd had 17,000 in sales. And there was the next contestant that presented their stuff, and they had 1 million in sales. And he said, what's the difference between these two people? The difference between the two people is the $1 million salesperson had their back against the wall. And so what that meant for me, I'm 61, and at the age of 55, I was laid off for the first time, never having expected it to happen again in my corporate career, and then again in my direct sales career. So at all times, you've got to have your back against the wall. You can't rely on whatever your current source of income is, that it's going to be there forever. The teaching job, the RN job that I had, you can't rely on that. When you're relying on your current source of income, that's when you're not going to make the $1 million, because you're going to believe that it's always going to be there. So I don't have to post about Plexus today. I don't have to do reach outs. I don't have to communicate, because I just made $15 an hour, $50 an hour today, whatever it was, at my job. And then my job's always going to be there. It ain't always going to be there. So then when you think about, and I think Kelsey, you just said this piece about posting, don't just post about Plexus or, whatever it is you're trying to maybe make an income from. Post about, who are you? If I went to your wall and then I met you on
I keep waiting for her to come back. Pam, you froze. But okay, if she comes back, then I want to get back into it. But I really think that what she's saying right now
be
is
able
really
to say, oh my gosh, I was being crazy. It's so funny. And oh, I'm sorry. It says my internet connection is unstable. Maybe it got chopped.
But I think what Pam's saying is really important, is just, Katie, like, who are you? Like, what did you love? What do you love about network marketing? Like, as an industry, like, what made you decide to go into it again? Like, what do you want to change? You're watching different teams all get together on a call this Monday and pour into each other's teams, which I don't know if that's common in other network marketing companies, but I know that it's rare just in life that we're literally pouring in, that Rachel and Kelsey aren't attached to Becky and I at all as a team. Like we don't make it. In fact, I don't even know like from Jill, like where we ever connect. Like I think Celeste maybe like where we connect, if even. So, or Jenny. So I just think it's so important to point out, like, take a picture of this. I love getting on a call with women who have different backgrounds, who are all different ages, who have kids at different stages, and we can pour into each other. Like, today, do you have a place in your life where that's pouring? Find things that you love about Plexus. Like if it's the ease of the sticks, if it's the intricacy of the, precision probiotics, like whatever it is, like just find something fun and then make sure that your audience knows who you are. All of us should really, really like drill down, like in the last 24 hours in your posts, in your feed, in your stories, like what point have you shown like your heart and for not only why you do Plexus, but just like why you move forward and find joy in life. Like what this week has been heavy for a lot of reasons, for a lot of people. Like, where are you finding your joy? Where are you, plugging in? How are you staying healthy mentally and physically? Like, I just think there's a lot of things, Katie. And I just want to say this, like, give yourself permission to really do it messy, which I feel like is kind of my moniker. It's all I've ever done is messy. I don't know any other way. If Rachel has cringy old posts, I bet I could up them by glitter and sparkles and all kinds of things from 11 years ago. I mean, the things that we posted and the quality of pictures were just amazing, right? 11 years ago. So I just want to say, like, I promise you, if people can make 6 figures in this company with misspelled words and really bad graphics and really bad picture quality, but with excitement and belief and like the thrill of knowing other people are going to come in and find relief with these products and like passion with the business. And like, I promise you, your mood about all of it will trump the quality of your post every single time. Like how much you believe in it and how excited you are about it. I think personally, just based on the fact that my business went really fast and my posts were awful, my excitement about it and my belief in what it was possible was to do really trumped. You can be excited about Reset and it's going to trump a before and after picture every single time. Like, I just think your belief that Reset does what it says it does and that women will feel amazing after the 3 days will trump what it actually is, like included in a nutritional 3-day metabolism fast, like using all those words will be mute compared to your excitement about it. So just for all of us, it's a good reminder, Katie. It's a great reminder. I love it when fresh people ask good questions because it reminds all of us like how, like, oh yeah, you forget the basics sometimes. So really good content, Rachel. Okay, let's ask one more question. One more thing. Who's going to ask it?
I think Ivy had a question.
Okay, here comes my 2-year-old, so I gotta make this quick. But how do you, so I know that that's one thing that I'm missing, Kelsey. I love that you said that you get on a Zoom with them and ask them about their why and things. And I have a couple that have said, okay, I'm willing to let you help me. And I've given them like how to post and stuff, but I can't seem to get them there. How do you, I don't know, cast that vision or help them, I guess, with that?
Yeah, it goes back to, I mean, you think of when you started your products, it has to be their timing. You don't want to pull a dead horse. And so if you're giving and giving and you're getting nothing in return, it's time to find some fresh. It's time to continue to reach out and find someone that is excited. And if that's halting you, which could be you're waiting on that one person or that one person maybe had said, I did want that, or I have wanted that in the past, or that looks nice. And you're waiting on them to finally get that aha moment and get into action, you're actually slowing your pace down. And so I would continue to find fresh every single day, reach out to new every single day. And you'll know, like, you're going to have to vision cast a little bit with them, right? Find out their why, show them what could be possible, tell them I've been there, relate with them and tell them what you have experienced, share your journey. But ultimately it has to be, they have to show up. I always tell my people, I will match your energy. If you're setting, I'll set. If you're running, I'll run. You know, if you're at a jog, I'm at a jog. And that's what our leaders, Jill and Rachel, always tell us too. It's like, match their energy. Don't let someone halt you in your success or your business. Continue to find someone, because someone out there is hungry. Someone out there is wanting this and needs this. So that'd be kind of my tip.
One thing I want to add real quick to that too is also people talk a lot and like some people talk and don't walk the walk, basically. Like I had 5 people this month who said they wanted to go silver. I'm working with 2 of them now. 3 of them were like, yes, I'm all in, even after I did the Zoom call with them. This is Finley. Yes, I'm all in. I did the Zoom call with them. And then it's like 3 of them I never really heard from. One of them posted like once, you know, but then I just, and rather than being like, dang it, what happened to them? Which is what I used to do. Now I'm like, okay, that's fine. How are your products going? You loving your product? And then I'm running with the 2 that are having fun and are excited because it's way more fun. And when it's fun, you'll do it.
I love this so much. I feel like y'all brought so much value. One of my favorite things, and I might have messaged Becky halfway through, is that y'all are taking Monday Masterclass and like putting like feet to it. And I just love that what we had the vision of a couple of years ago of doing these calls has been so helpful for so many teams, but it also reminds me to go back and be like, what meat do I need to get out of this call? What meat do I need to get out of the, you know, Amber call or the Brooke call? And to remind myself that we have trainings available. We never have a limit of trainings, right? Like there is not a day that you could actually not watch or rewatch a training from leaders inside our company, not even our corporate office training us, or bringing in outside trainers, but literally the women who are walking the walk and doing the things. And Kelsey, one of my favorite things about your whole thing is that you said, I made it, I hit Emerald. And then I realized, okay, now I actually have to like earn it with leaders. Like now I actually have to like make it more solid. You had the people there, you had the belief. I don't want to discount the fact like you had people that were willing to order and to go all in and to back you. And that like, no trust factor that you had not only with your team, but your team had with their audience got you to Emerald. Like that is so huge on earning that. But then you being able to self-reflect and team reflect and go, okay, I need more leader legs, doing more solid things. And I don't even need 1 more gold. I need these 2 golds who are already in it to go senior gold, which by the way, 2 people going from gold to senior gold is more points than you adding 1 more gold leg. And it's more solid. It literally makes that leg like wider and thicker and more stable. Don't tell them I call them wide and thick. So I just think it's really, really important for y'all to listen to the wisdom that people literally doing it in the trenches with you, helping people. It doesn't matter if it's me or Becky or Kelsey or Rachel or whomever, or Katie with her very first, you know, when she goes gold. Like developing a gold is the exact same process for all of us. Every single one of us start with signing up someone as a VIP customer with Triplex and maybe a free reset this month, and then casting that vision, getting them on the Zooms, doing those calls. Like every single one of us had the exact same like steps that Kelsey gave us. So I just want to challenge you. Like, it's not like we don't get extra people that you don't get. We don't have, we've done it really bad and really ugly. And I promise you, Kelsey's first few Zooms and the first few times she asked questions, she stumbled over it. And she probably was like, I don't know if I asked them any of the right questions or if I even gave them the right answers, or what if I gave them a really bad first post and that's why they got no comments and no likes. Like we've all done it, but have you noticed she's in it, doing it over and over and helping other people do it over and over. And that's where the growth happens. Thank you so much, ladies. I loved having y'all on. I feel like my network just grew this much bigger by people that I adore and look up to and admire. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to see everybody either at Super Saturday. I'm guessing I'm gonna see y'all in Dallas.
Yes. Thank y'all so much for having us. Yep. We'll be there. We're like 3 hours away. We'll be there. We're going to road trip it.
Rachel's gonna be coming with a brand new baby to Dallas, but we're gonna see y'all there, and cannot wait to see everyone Super Saturday, if not convention in Dallas in June. We'll see y'all there. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, guys.